Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I got Bhuwan Chauhan in the house, a multi-time Olympian, but more than that, really a pioneer for all the amazing Indian people that follow him. Bhuwan Chauhan, it's what, past midnight in India, and you took the time to sit down with me. Thank you, bro. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, it is past midnight here, and we made it happen. I know it's been a little, I made you wait a little bit,
No.
but the time zone difference, and I am in India for the last like a week now. So I'm actually in Mumbai for the Schedule Classic show that's happening here. So yeah, I'm glad that a lot of people are going to be able to watch this, knowing that in India.
Yes, bro. I appreciate you. Seriously, man. That was big, man. I got to ask you, first question right off the bat. How's it feel to be the Bhuwan Chauhan, bro? You're the Bhuwan, bro.
I know you hype me up a lot on your channel. I've seen videos, so
Yeah, bro.
me up again. It feels great that I am actually part of a country that is so fitness driven, and it's something that, yeah, I truly enjoy inspiring a lot of the youngsters to just keep following their dreams and
Definitely.
know that they can actually start from a very humble beginning, not even having like any resource to be a full-time bodybuilder or go to the Olympia or be a pro, but just through sheer dedication and having that clear goal, they can achieve it. So I'm
Right.
glad that I'm able to for a country of 1.2 billion people.
Yes, you're big time representing. And the last time I looked, bro, there's not that many Indians doing what you're doing, like killing the game. Why is that, bro?
I That's a question that I think it's a really good question you just asked, because a lot of people want to know that, and they keep asking me that every now and then, that why are there not other pros getting to that level when there's so much talent in the country.
Yes.
Um, there's a few reasons. I feel like there's a couple reasons for that.
Okay.
Number one is, I would say a lot of people who have that talent don't have the opportunities
Mhm.
because they are not smart enough to strategize how to compete. I'm talking about the pros,
Right.
right? There's also shows in India happening that will allow you to become a pro. So that's already past that talk. Now let's talk about the guys who are pros. Why are the pros not able to get to the Olympia or place at the pro shows or
Hmm.
just do well? The reason for that is because they are not able to strategize. Maybe the coaches that they have are not able to do that for them.
Right.
Maybe they aren't doing it for them, because I feel like a lot of people make excuses of maybe not having that money to go from India to US because of the currency exchange and economy. And I'm like, if I was in India, I wouldn't even think of going to US, because
Mhm.
there's so thing in China, Japan, Thailand, Kuwait, Middle East, there's that. Like, you need a 3 hour, 4 hour flight. Why would you take a 20-hour flight to US to compete when you can
Interesting.
take a. So to me, when I see it, I was like, okay, I feel so. That's reason one. The reason two is, I think they just don't try hard. You've seen my journey. If you actually you cover so many other athletes, right? What is one thing that you find in common amongst all the pros that have made it to the Olympia in the last couple of years? That they compete from show to
Mhm.
show. They don't give up. It takes time to be that first call out guy.
Right.
Very very few guys will be like right off the bat, second at a pro show, first at a pro show, and go to the Olympia, and just do that. Very like rare.
Mhm.
Usually it's like you do shows, you'll place 10th, ninth, whatever at a pro show, then you come second, third, then you come first, and then you go to the Olympia, and then it's still not over. Like, that's like me, like it's still not done. You still have to, you're like, try to get better and better. So I feel it's just the patience to
Mhm.
know that, hey, you know what, this is a lifestyle. This is not that you can take a pro card and sit at home and not do anything about it and just blame external reasons. I think it's about taking that charge, taking that, oh, this is what I love doing. Competing is my life, 365 a day, a job. And there are so many shows happening around my country that I
Mhm.
can just go eat and qualify for the Olympia.
Beautiful. You just answered like four questions, bro. Appreciate you. That was a great answer, man. I've always wondered that.
First question right off the bat, you asked me a question that thousands, hundreds of thousands of people.
Interesting.
It's question because there's so many pros in India and they keep asking me that. I'm like, okay, now I can actually really tell them, if they're watching this, this is the reason.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you for answering that. I got to ask you, man, when, at what point in time growing up, Bhuwan, did you really start believing in yourself that you could do this?
When it came to fitness, actually, I didn't know it until I competed in my first show. I was just more about maintaining a lean physique, or more like physique with some abs, and just looking good for the university and just looking good in general. It wasn't until I did and the only reason I even did my first show was not because I thought of becoming a pro. I didn't even know what a pro was. I just did the show because I was like, oh, it's 2 weeks before EDC. And I get to use 3 weeks of vacation time from job. So I actually booked 3 weeks off, 1 week for the peak week of the show, and then 2 weeks leading up to the EDC festival. I was like, I want to go to Vegas and enjoy being shredded. So that was how my journey started. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just tired of working a whole year. I'm just going to use all my vacation in one go. So I did that show. And I won. I'm like, oh, okay, this is pretty great. Like, I feel like I have the structure amongst all these other hundreds of competitors. And then the judges actually asked me to do a show a week after the EDC. Mm-hmm. So I would have gone to EDC and then go to do a show which was provincials at the time. And I didn't even know about the show. Actually, as I said, like, I only knew about the local show. So I was like, what is provincials? Oh, it's provincials is how you qualify for nationals. I'm like, what is nationals? Oh, nationals, how you go to get a pro card? I'm like, well, I need to I know a couple pros, but I don't think I want to be a pro. So they're like, no, you have the shape, you have to do the provincials. And I'm like, well, I have a vacation plan. How the hell do you want me to do the show? So I started believing in myself because the judges at the show convinced me to do the show. And I did do that show even after EDC, and I won that show too. Wow. So when I won back shows, then I started. I'm like, you know what? Like, I actually want to be a pro, and not just a pro. Then I started researching what's the next step. I'm like, oh, you know what? I actually really want to go to the Olympia. So that's how it began.
Interesting, bro. Interesting. Yeah, I remember doing your journey. I think it was almost last time this year, Bhuwan. I was just hopeful after making a video about you that you would just put me in your story, and here we are and we're talking about it, dude. It's crazy, yeah. Man. Has there been a major mentor in your life that helped guide you in the right directions?
I feel like a lot of the things I have done myself, like strategizing the shows is something that I always do. Like, I discuss it with Ryan. He picked up my prep in 2019. Like, I've discussed it with him, but I feel like I always want to take that charge of my career, whether it comes to social media, whether it comes to picking the shows, whether it's like, for example, this year, like deciding not to do the Olympia wasn't my decision. So, I would say that I've been guided, but I would say I have the right people in my corner that I can talk to and discuss. So yeah, my coach Ryan would be there. My coach Dorian, he's my off-season coach. Like, my friends, like myself, my parents are actually into bodybuilding too. So I always here and now I will talk to my dad about exchanging ideas and stuff. So yeah.
Wow, dope, bro, dope. I got to ask you, Bhuwan. When you were not at this level yet, man, how did you overcome all those hard times before you had this success? Like, what kept you going when these obstacles got in your way?
I think it was being an immigrant, actually being an international student was a very big driving force in making me and giving me that strong kind of relentless attitude. It was always there growing up. When you're in a secure environment, it's different, right? Like, you want to be the best in sports, you want to be best in academics, it's different. But then you go home and you're in a secure environment. But then living by yourself, being by yourself in a whole new country and learning new ways and rules and all of that, and at the same time trying to make your passion your profession, that is how it allowed me, like, just knowing that, you know what, there's no other, you have to do this. You can't go back. Either you survive, it's called like, you just, like how people throw a child in the swimming pool and then he has to learn to swim or he's going to drown, right? Like, yeah. Animals, that like, they'll throw their cubs in the water and somehow they learn to swim. So I feel like this is what it did for me, like, knowing that I have to survive no matter what gave me that really strong mindset to like, okay, there's no other option. And that transferred over to bodybuilding, that transferred over to making it my profession.
Whoa, it's who you are, bro. I love it. I dig it, bro. I could feel it through the Instagram, but just to sit here and talk with you, now I can really feel it. Bhuwan, 2020, I saw you display an amazing package on that Olympia stage, paired with a dope posing routine. But 15th, what did the judges say to you?
It was just the size, like condition of an issue. I was a little bit flat than I would have wanted based on like how much time we spent with me, my physique, the thing is that I get fat pretty fast. So it's always been a struggle to understand how long I can sustain the pump. And at the Olympia last year, we were actually waiting for almost 2 hours to get to the pre-judging. So a lot of guys, like I know Ryan Terry had that issue as well. Like, there's a lot of guys who have that kind of issue where they became flat, but they were looking on point like an hour ago. So I feel like, yeah, I got a little bit more flat, but I was super lean and shredded. And talking to the judges about that, so yeah, they did say that I was a little bit flat. That was one of the reviews. And the other thing was just having that density. 10 pounds is 10 to 12 pounds is what they asked me to put on to be competitive, to get my ranking in the top 10. So when I decided to do shows this year, that was a goal, to put on the 10 pounds. And I was exactly 10 pounds more.
Bro, you were way bigger. You were bigger, and all those lines are still there, bro. And I'm talking about your Tournament of Champions when I first saw you win that.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
Bro, that was top 10 at the Olympia this year. I'm sorry, bro. That was legit.
Yeah. I saw that, and it was very competitive. Honestly, like Joe brought his best package too. Like I saw him even like the day before, and I was talking to like myself, and I was talking to Ryan. I'm like, this is going to be a battle. This is not going to be park. So it was a good show and battle. Then I saw Joe at the Olympia, and he plays like top 10. I'm like, God damn, like, you know, I've just done show like 3 weeks before. But I feel there's always ifs and buts, right? So like there's always ifs and buts. I think for me, it was just the fact of being confident. Whether I was 10 pounds more or not, I just wanted to see what that looks like. So knowing that, I'm like, okay, this is actually even better not competing at the Olympia, because I did my show, I put on that muscle, and now I have a whole year to put on even more. So what they asked me, I actually can do more.
Wow. Whoa. About a week after your win at the Tournament of Champions, you decide to head into the Daytona Classic. What'd you learn from that show?
So I had decided to do that show regardless of whether I won the Tournament of Champions or not, because I was going to be in Florida regardless for Olympia. I'm like, why not just do another show, right? And it allowed me, by winning Tournament of Champions, it took away a little bit of the pressure. Yeah, I could have brought package. I know like doing the same thing over and over would have probably made me look the same that I looked at Tournament of Champions. But I made that conscious decision. Ryan didn't. I talked to him about it, but I made that conscious decision that I want to push for fullness. Like I really want to push how much I can eat until that really high point. And honestly, yeah, we pushed a little bit more. So that's why I was a little bit watery, because I was eating so much food, starting from 4 days out to 3 days, like 4 days out, 600 carbs, 3 days out, 600, 2 days out, 800, 1 day out, 1,000. That's how much food. So yeah, I was full, but the problem was like by eating so much food, my digestion took a hit. So that's why it was. And we learned like, okay, you know what? We need to find a fine balance between just right and getting too full. Because honestly, I don't know if you saw that show. I thought the only competition is going to be Fernando Chala.
And Yusuf Al-Shaban.
Yeah, he was second at the other show, right? So I was like, oh, if I'm going to compete against him, who's also an Olympian, who's way bigger than I am, well, I need to push for fullness. So it's just the whole dynamics changed. And then I realized, so I learned two things. One, how much I should be pushing for my pump up next time, which is perfect because I've never had the chance to do a show without pressure. So, this is great. Like I get to experiment and learn about my body. So that was one good thing. And the second good thing that I really learned is like, hey, my strength will always be conditioning. So even though I want to push for fullness, I should always bring in my shredded look, which is what everybody loves.
Well, what a great opportunity to do it. I mean, good thing you didn't try to do that on the Olympia stage. You got a chance to do it after that.
I don't think I can ever do that because, yeah, there's so much pressure, right? You want to always bring your best, so you want to be shredded. So I'm just so grateful that I have these shows 1 week apart and I was able to play around with so many factors and I learned so much.
Andre Ferguson says your coach, Ryan Benson, who's the coach of Team Zero Gravity, he says he's a badass dude. What makes Ryan so great as a coach, bro?
I think for me, Ryan, the biggest thing about Ryan is that he's present. He's present for the athletes at the shows and more so with me. Like I can't say about how he coaches all the other athletes on the Zero Gravity team, but with me, he actually discusses things. Like me and him can have a talk. He's not, it's either my way or the highway kind of a coach. So over the years and before working with him and after working with him and myself working with so many clients, there's a lot of things that I talk to him about. And then he's always hears about it, and we come up with a game plan and we discuss things. Even the next year's programming that we have did is something we've discussed. So I really like that aspect about him, and just the fact that he's super chill, he's super cool. He's not one of those coaches who have a lot of ego in him that, oh, like you have to do this, or you know what, I don't really need you, I don't really care for you, this and that. So he really cares for his athletes, and just always present.
Mm-hmm. Dope to hear, bro. Is men's physique growing in India? I know it's pretty popular, isn't it?
Man, like men's physique here it's crazy. Like the amount, like the show that's going to happen on Saturday. Today is Thursday, so on Saturday when the show is going to happen, I know there's probably like 400 guys competing in this show. It's so big because everybody wants that look, men's physique look. Open bodybuilding look is not something that most aspire for, and in a country of so many cultures, it's just more like, okay, they can look normal, they can look good,
right?
So it's huge. I think men's physique is definitely the most common, the biggest division, not just India. I would say it's probably the entire Asia.
Yeah, I see that. I can feel it, bro. When you get the young guns coming up to you, whether it be in the DMs or at a show, what do you preach to them, bro? When they ask for advice on how to do what you do one day, what do you tell them? I mean, I know you don't have all the time in the world to sit down and talk to them and show them all the strategies, but in the short amount of time, what advice can you give them?
I always tell them to prioritize the career first. To me, it's always going to be, hey, passion, but passion doesn't pay bills. So honestly, a lot of people, when they try to just compete and think they can become the next Chris Bumstead or the next Brandon Hendrickson, just straight up off the bat in 2 years become Mr. Olympia, well, that doesn't happen that way. And for most people, it doesn't end up becoming a profession, even at the pro level. Mm-hmm. So prioritize profession. So yeah, that's the number one tip. Like, yeah, keep working towards your financial stability, but don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your passion. Just balance the two.
Yes. How's your dog, Bhuwan? I got to ask. I'm a big dog guy.
I know you've mentioned her a few times. She's doing great. Canada with my friends. I do miss her, but I have two dogs of my own in here in my home. So that kind of takes, so I do have to spend a little bit of my time that I don't get to spend with them. But yeah, I do miss her, and she's great.
You're a dog dad, so like I immediately like you, bro. That's one of the things I never understood, man. Is especially like dating when I was younger. When I would bring a girl over, because I've had my dog for a very long time. If they didn't pay any attention to my dog, it was an immediate no, bro.
But when I was single, it was like a straight up. That's how you know it's a red flag or not. It's like, bro, the way you treat the dog tells me everything I need to know. If that's going to happen on the date or not.
Totally. 100%. 100%. Yeah. Favorite city in the U.S.?
It also really helps, like, having that, because you're like, oh, the way that girl bonds with a dog will tell you a lot about her future ability, because they can fake it with you, but the way they behave. So
100% correct, bro. 100%. I'm glad you feel that, man. Big red flag.
A lot of benefits and perks outside of this.
It's facts, bro. Absolute facts. Let me ask you, man. This is a fan question. Yeah. As you know, one of my biggest demographics on my channel, my subscribers are people from India, and they're freaking awesome. They want to know, favorite cheat meal. Is it savory? Is it sweet? What is it?
I used to have a big sweet tooth until a couple of years ago. But now it's not really a lot of sweet tooth. So I would say I would go for savory now. And when it comes to cheat foods, I obviously go towards Indian food, like right off the bat, like if I'm doing a show. But lately, for the last 2 years, the funny thing is my favorite food that I look forward to is lobster roll. Something about that bread and something about, it's cold and warm. Like, I don't know. For the last 2 years, after every show I've done, that's something that I look forward to the most.
Interesting. I'm allergic to lobster, but it sounds good.
Out on live, I'm telling you. Too bad.
But a lot of people, and this is something I really pay attention to when I follow you on Instagram or through your shows or just anything you put out there, bro. You're a guy that progresses, I feel like daily, even if it's just a little bit. And a lot of people are like, man, just if I progress a little bit, or if I get a little bit better every day, that's the goal. But what does getting better, a little bit better every day mean to you?
I It's just the culmination of putting that effort every day and having that discipline. I can't emphasize enough that at the end of the day, it's all about discipline and being in that zone. Um, I know that I progress the best way I could. I know I can't do better. Like looking over the last year, like this year, I know I couldn't have done anything better to grow more because every day in, day out, it was just plan followed to the T and just living this lifestyle 24/7. I chose this life to live the way I want to. So I have to give it my 100% effort. There's no excuses. There's no easy way out. There's not something that, I want to have fun, especially when it's crunch off season time, improvement season time, and crunch show time. Like, there's no, it's just straight with. So.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Bro, you and your girl seem really awesome together. I have an amazing girlfriend as well. How can I ask how you guys met, bro?
I just made a Q&A actually. I didn't release
Oh,
it
did
yesterday.
you?
Yeah. So yeah, I asked that question there. It's funny because we competed at the same show in 2017 when I turned pro. And she won her class, but she didn't know about me. And I actually know about her since 2014. Like I used to follow her. And she was an influencer back then. I wasn't even an influencer. I was just
Whoa.
So yeah, so I used to kind of like a crush on her, but I never really talked, right? And then somehow when I went to the Olympia in 2019, like she just messaged me and she followed me and she's just being pretty genuine about going to the Olympia as an Indian because there was something proud for everybody. Mm-hmm. And we left talk here and there, and then this year she just slid into my DMs again, and we made it happen. So it's so yeah, and then as soon as she did that, then I'm like, okay, it's been long overdue, and let's take her out on a date. And somehow this time around things worked out. We made it happen.
You know what, though, for all the young guns watching it, and I say young guns, I mean like, I guess teenagers, early 20s, I get a lot of guys asking about like, man, I just wish I had a girlfriend. It'd be so nice to have a girlfriend in my life. But it sounds like, bro, you just kept working on yourself. And eventually she kind of just finally came to you, bro, because you just kept focusing on you. Yeah, it was dope, bro.
That I feel like just chasing something like a person that you think will make your life easier or better, or just having comfort of someone is a recipe for disaster. Like you have to be really strong and comfortable in just who you are and what you're doing and just enjoying what you're doing. Whether you have a girlfriend or people around you should not change the way you take your life. So yeah, I say that I agree with that statement. I feel like this whole year, maybe the last year, I worked on myself. I kept doing the thing that I enjoyed doing, which was making my lifestyle, my life better. And somehow it just happened and clicked. And maybe that's why it appears so much more natural to people, and people like it because it wasn't this plan to put a lot of effort into. It just happened naturally. So for those people, I would say just keep doing your thing and it'll happen automatically. I'm sure your story is probably similar too. Like it just happens. Like it's not something that you can plan, or you're like, oh, I wish. I don't even like that statement. I'm like, oh, I wish I had that. I wish I had that. Why? Do your thing, enjoy your life, and you'll get what you are destined for, what you really want.
Yeah, don't force it. The universe got you. Bhuwan, the very last question I have for you, can I get a little bit of the intel of your plans for 2022? Are you going to chill to the O or what? What's going on?
So the intel for 2022 is, I'm staying in chill. This has been the best after my because of the planning that I had. And next year, I'm definitely doing the Olympia. But before the Olympia, there's a few shows that I've already picked out on and I'm prepping for. So not one, it's not two, it's actually more than two. So actually and planning it in a way that I can still show up at the Olympia with at least 8 pounds more muscle than I did this year. So my stage weight this year was 208. I want to be 216 at Olympia next year.
Ooh, for 216 Bhuwan, bro? With those aesthetics?
I would have said a couple more pounds because I put on 10 pounds this year, but knowing that I'm doing all these shows, I know that it'll take away from a little bit of the time, but we got 14 months after my show when I competed. We got 14 months for the Olympia. That's a long enough time to grow. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
1 year, I can guarantee you that.
Bhuwan, bro, you're the man. It's past midnight. That's probably almost what time is it in India, bro, right now?
1:15 or something. So,
Bro, I really appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time.
anytime for you, Art. It's always a pleasure watching your videos and the energy you bring into the videos. So I'm glad that we got this done, and I'm glad that I had the chance to be in this podcast and just had fun talking to you and just really actually talking one-on-one with you, because I don't think we've ever talked before this. So
Yeah, bro. And the only time I've ever really heard you talk in English, I guess, was your TED talk that you did. So I think it's really cool for people everyone looks at your physique and sees you and you're a dope dude, but no one can really hear how you're doing, like we are now. So this is really cool, bro. I really appreciate you, bro.
glad we got this done.
All right, go get some sleep, bro. Appreciate you.
Oh, well, right after this. Okay, have a great day.
Take care, bro. Appreciate you.